Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare states $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today we're diving into a coin that millions of people have held without ever realizing its hidden secrets. The United States Virginia State Quarter from the year 2000 might look ordinary, but behind that small piece of metal lies an entire story of American history, rare mint mistakes, and surprising auction value that collectors absolutely love. So sit back, listen closely, and enjoy, because if you ever find this coin in your change, you'll want to check it very carefully. The Virginia Quarter celebrates one of the most important chapters in America's beginnings. On the reverse side, you see three historic ships sailing across the water. These ships were the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery, the very vessels that carried the first English settlers to Jamestown in 1607. The design honors the founding of the first permanent English colony in North America. Every detail on this coin, from the ripples in the water to the masts of the ships, was made to capture the spirit of exploration and the deep history of Virginia. But while the design is beautiful, what makes this coin especially interesting are the rare errors that slipped through the minting process. In the year 2000, the mint produced hundreds of millions of Virginia quarters, and when production numbers are that high, mistakes are bound to happen. Some of those mistakes created extremely collectible varieties. One of the most sought-after errors is the grease-filled die error. During minting, grease sometimes builds up inside the dies, causing parts of the design to appear faint, weak, or even missing completely. On some Virginia quarters, letters like the T in trust or parts of the ships can look washed out or ghost-like. These coins immediately catch the eye of collectors, because no two grease errors are exactly alike. Another valuable error is the misaligned die strike. When the dies are not perfectly lined up, the design can shift to one side, making the border uneven or stretching elements of the artwork. Some Virginia quarters show dramatic shifts where the rim grows thick on one side and thin on the other. More extreme examples feature both sides off-center, and these are highly desirable. There are also off-center strikes where the entire design is punched noticeably away from the center of the coin. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin usually becomes. In a few rare cases, collectors have discovered missing clad layer errors where part of the nickel coating didn't bond properly, leaving a copper-colored surface on one side. With so many error possibilities, the Virginia Quarter has become a favorite of roll hunters and collectors who search for hidden treasures. Most Virginia quarters you find in everyday change are worth exactly what they say, 25 cents. But the error versions tell a very different story. A normal circulated Virginia quarter holds face value. A high-grade uncirculated example can be worth a few dollars. A silver-proof version from the San Francisco Mint can sell for between $5 and $10. But the rare error coins are where the money is. A strong misaligned die error or a dramatic grease-filled strike can bring values around $125. More extreme or unusual errors have been known to reach into the hundreds depending on condition and rarity. So next time you get change, take a slow look at that 2000 Virginia quarter. You might be holding a tiny piece of American history, or you might be holding a secret mint mistake worth far more than pocket change. Keep searching, keep learning, and enjoy the adventure of coin collecting. Top 2, we're diving into one of the most beautiful and underrated modern American quarters, the United States Block Island Quarter from the year 2018. If you think modern coins can't hold secrets or hidden value, this little piece of metal is about to prove you wrong. So coin lovers, listen carefully, because this quarter has mystery, rarity, unexpected errors, and a charm that keeps collectors hooked from the moment they discover it. The Block Island Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, honoring one of Rhode Island's most treasured national wildlife refuges. The moment you flip this coin over, it feels like a tiny work of art. You see a graceful black-crowned night heron soaring over the marsh, wings outstretched, gliding above the scenic shoreline. Behind it stands the iconic North Light Lighthouse, a reminder of Rhode Island's rugged coastal beauty. The design captures the quiet, natural magic of Block Island in a single moment frozen on metal. But while the image is stunning, what truly excites collectors is what you may not see at first glance: the rare minting quirks that slip through production. Whenever new quarters are released, mistakes are possible, and the Block Island quarter is no exception. Because only a limited number of America the Beautiful coins are minted compared to regular state quarters, any error becomes even more desirable. Some of the most interesting Block Island errors come from off-center strikes, where the design drifts noticeably toward the rim. These coins immediately stand out because the border becomes uneven or part of the artwork seems slightly pushed to one side. The more dramatic the shift, the more collectors crave it. There are also die cracks and die chips, tiny raised lines or bumps caused when the minting die begins to wear out. On Block Island quarters, these sometimes appear near the lighthouse, in the sky area, or along the wings of the bird. Each crack creates a unique pattern, almost like nature leaving its own fingerprint on the coin. Another collectible variety is the struck-through error, where a piece of lint, metal shaving, or grease gets caught between the die and the blank, leaving strange missing sections or smudges in the design. Some Block Island quarters have been found with faint or ghost-like details, especially around the lighthouse structure, giving them an eerie but fascinating appearance. And then there are the coins with missing clad layers. When the outer nickel coating fails to bond correctly, part of the coin shows a copper tone instead of the usual silver color. These errors are eye-catching, unusual, and extremely valuable in the hands of collectors. Because this quarter was minted in smaller numbers compared to older circulating designs, high-grade examples and certified errors can rise quickly in demand. Most people never take a second look at their change, but those who do sometimes discover treasures worth far more than 25 cents. That's the excitement of coin hunting. You never know when a common-looking coin might be a hidden winner. This is why the Block Island quarter remains a favorite for collectors. It's beautiful, full of character, and packed with the possibility of valuable errors. Every time you find one in circulation, it's worth taking a closer look at the bird's wings, the lighthouse, and the rim for anything unusual. Now for the real market price and auction value. A regular circulated Block Island quarter is typically worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example may be worth between $1 and $5. Error coins such as strong off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or dramatic struck-through varieties can reach values from $50 to over $100 depending on rarity and condition. Top 3. We're exploring one of the most iconic coins of the entire state quarter series, the United States New York quarter from the year 2001. At first glance, it might seem like just another state design, but for collectors, this coin carries history, symbolism, hidden errors, and surprising value that makes every coin hunter stop and take a second look. So coin lovers, get ready, because this story is one worth listening to closely. The New York quarter represents a moment of pride and unity. On the reverse, you see the Statue of Liberty standing tall, holding her torch high as a symbol of freedom. Behind her floats an outline of the state itself, with a line tracing the route of the Hudson River and the Erie Canal. At the top, the words "Gateway to Freedom" remind us why millions of people around the world associate New York with hope, opportunity, and possibility. The design captures the bold spirit of the Empire State in a way that makes this coin instantly recognizable. But beyond the powerful artwork, this quarter has something that makes collectors especially excited: rarity in the form of minting errors. And the New York quarter has more interesting error varieties than many people realize. One of the most fascinating errors is the double die strike. On some coins, letters or parts of the Statue of Liberty appear doubled, especially along the torch, the rays of the crown, or the inscriptions. This doubling happens when the die shifts slightly between strikes, and it creates a ghost-like shadow effect that collectors love to hunt for. Another collectible error is the off-center strike. These coins show the design shifted toward one edge, causing the rim to look thicker on one side and thinner on the other. The more dramatic the off-center shift, the more valuable the piece becomes. A few examples show nearly 10% off-center, making them stand out instantly. There are also broad strike errors, where the retaining collar fails and the coin expands slightly outward, creating a wider, flatter appearance. Some New York quarters also show die cracks and die chips, especially near Liberty's torch and around the outer border. These small raised lines or bumps tell the story of a die that was beginning to wear out during production. Another rare and eye-catching mistake is the missing clad layer error. Instead of the usual shiny silver color, part of the coin appears copper-toned, revealing the inner core. These coins are not only visually striking but also considered highly desirable. With more than 1 billion New York quarters minted, most are extremely common and found in everyday pocket change. But the special ones, the errors, the high-grade pieces, and the unusual varieties, stand out like little treasures. Collectors love this coin not just for its design, but because it represents one of the most important states in American history and carries powerful symbolic meaning. Every time one of these 25-cent pieces passes through your hands, it's worth slowing down and checking. Look closely at the crown, the torch, the lettering, and the outline of the state. A tiny difference could be worth more than you expect. Now for the real market price and auction value. A regular circulated New York quarter from 2001 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can bring $3 to $10. Rare error coins such as double die strikes, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and missing clad layer pieces can sell from $50 to more than $150 depending on condition and severity. Top 4, we're taking a close look at one of the most elegant coins in the state quarter series, the United States Rhode Island quarter from the year 2001. At first glance, this coin seems peaceful, almost calming, but behind its smooth design lies a world of collectible secrets, surprising errors, and hidden value that coin lovers don't want to miss. So sit back, enjoy, and listen carefully, because this little 25-cent piece has a lot more going on than most people ever realize. When you flip this quarter over, the artwork immediately transports you to the ocean. The design shows a graceful sailboat gliding across the water of Narragansett Bay, its sail catching the wind as it passes beneath the towering arches of the Claiborne-Pell Bridge. The horizon is wide, the waves are gentle, and the image perfectly reflects Rhode Island's proud nickname, the Ocean State. It's a design that stands out among the entire series for its calm beauty and smooth composition, but while the design itself is beautiful, what truly excites collectors is the rare group of mint errors that appeared during the production of this coin. With millions of coins struck at high speed, mistakes are always possible, and in the case of the Rhode Island quarter, some of those mistakes became extremely collectible. One of the most popular error types is the off-center strike. On these coins, the sailboat or the bridge appears pushed toward one edge, leaving part of the rim unusually thick or thin. Even a small shift catches the eye, but the dramatic ones, where the design noticeably slides outward, can make a coin highly desirable. Another fascinating variety is the broad strike error. When the retaining collar fails, the coin spreads out wider than normal, giving it a smooth, expanded appearance. The details stretch slightly, and the rim looks rounded instead of sharply defined. These errors are visually striking and instantly recognizable. Collectors also keep an eye out for die cracks and die chips, which appear as raised lines or bumps across the coin's surface. On the Rhode Island quarter, they're often seen near the mast of the sailboat, in the waves below, or along the outer rim. Each crack is unique, creating a tiny signature left behind by a worn minting die. Some of the rarest and most valuable errors involve missing or partial clad layers. When this happens, one side of the coin shows a copper tone instead of the usual silver color. A Rhode Island quarter with this kind of error stands out the moment you see it and can command strong attention from collectors. Because the Rhode Island quarter has such a clean, simple design, even small errors become obvious and interesting. That's one reason collectors enjoy searching through these coins. Any distortion in the sail, any unusual mark in the waves, any odd color or shifted rim could signal a valuable variety. And with millions of these coins still circulating today, the chance of finding something rare in your change is still very real. For anyone who enjoys the thrill of coin hunting, this quarter offers a satisfying mix of beauty, history, and exciting possibilities. It's a reminder that tiny mistakes at the mint can turn an ordinary coin into a hidden treasure. Now for the real market price and auction value. A regular circulated Rhode Island quarter from 2001 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can bring $3 to $10. Error coins such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, strong die cracks, and missing clad layers can sell for $50 to more than $150 depending on rarity and condition. Top 5, we're diving into one of the most visually calming yet secretly exciting coins in the entire America, the beautiful quarter series, the United States Bombay Hook Quarter from the year 2015. At first glance, it looks like a peaceful nature scene, but collectors know this coin hides rarity, errors, and surprising value. So coin lovers, get comfortable, listen carefully, and enjoy, because this 25-cent coin is far more interesting than most people realize. The Bombay Hook Quarter honors the Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Delaware, a place known for expansive wetlands and breathtaking birdlife. The moment you flip the coin over, your eyes are drawn to two elegant great blue herons standing in the shallow marsh. One stands tall, the other bends low, captured in perfect stillness as the waters reflect the calm sky. It almost feels like a tiny photograph pressed into metal, a peaceful reminder of America's natural beauty, but beneath that calm scenery is a world collectors love to explore, the surprising errors that occurred during production. And the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter has some of the most interesting minting mistakes of the modern era. One of the most collectible error types is the die break or die crack. On these coins, you might see raised lines across the water, along the bird's wings, or near the rim. Some of these cracks look subtle, but others are bold enough to create what collectors call a cud, a chunk of extra metal formed when the die begins to break. These pieces become instantly desirable because no two die breaks look exactly alike. Another exciting variety is the off-center strike. The design may be shifted slightly toward one edge, making the rim thicker on one side and thinner on the other. Even a small shift can increase value, but dramatic off-center examples attract major attention from collectors who love unusual, eye-catching mistakes. There are also broad strike errors, where the retaining collar fails during minting and the coin expands outward. These coins look smoother around the edges and sometimes wider than normal, giving them a unique, stretched appearance. The details of the herons may appear slightly softened or spread out, making these coins beautifully odd. Some Bombay Hook Quarters have shown evidence of struck-through errors, where dust, grease, or small debris interferes during the strike. This can lead to missing details in the feathers, blurred grasses in the marsh, or faint letters along the rim. These mysterious smudges and blank areas make each struck-through variety one of a kind. Collectors also hunt for missing clad layer errors. When part of the nickel coating fails, the copper core appears on the surface, giving the coin an unusual reddish tone. These errors are dramatic and instantly valuable, because the Bombay Hook design is simple, bold, and open. Even the smallest error becomes highly visible. That is why this quarter remains so popular among roll hunters. Every bird feather, every ripple in the water, every shadow in the marsh can reveal a rare surprise. And with millions of these coins still in circulation, finding a valuable one in pocket change is definitely possible. Now for the real market price and auction value. A regular circulated Bombay Hook Quarter from 2015 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can sell for $2 to $5. Error coins including strong die cracks, broad strikes, off-center strikes, struck-through varieties, and missing clad layer pieces can range from $50 to over $150 depending on rarity and condition. Top 6, we're taking a close look at a coin that millions of people have spent every day without ever noticing its hidden secrets. The United States Maryland Quarter from the year 2000 may seem simple at first glance, but this striking design holds history, rarity, and some very surprising mint errors that collectors love to chase. So coin lovers, sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy, because this little quarter has much more personality than most people realize. The Maryland Quarter celebrates the state's proud identity by featuring the majestic Maryland State House, the oldest state capitol still in continuous legislative use. The dome rises high above the trees, framed by two branches of the famous white oak, once the state tree of Maryland. The words "The Old Line State" curve across the top, a tribute to Maryland's heroic Revolutionary War soldiers. It's a design that feels both historic and noble, capturing the spirit of an old state with deep American roots. But what truly makes this quarter exciting for collectors are the unexpected and rare mint errors that emerged during production. When the mint strikes hundreds of millions of coins at high speed, unusual mistakes become inevitable, and some of them turn ordinary circulation coins into valuable treasures. One of the most interesting errors found on the Maryland quarter is the misaligned strike. Sometimes the dies shift slightly during production, causing details like the lettering or the building to appear slightly off-center. These shifts might seem small at first glance, but collectors immediately recognize the value hidden in these imperfections. There are also coins with dramatic off-center strikes, where the entire design moves noticeably toward the rim. On these coins, part of the border may disappear altogether while the opposite side becomes thicker. These errors are visually striking and highly desirable because each one is unique. Another collectible variety is the broadstrike error. When the minting collar fails, the coin spreads out wider than usual, and the rim becomes smooth instead of sharply defined. The dome of the State House and the branches around it can appear slightly stretched, giving the coin a fascinating distorted look. Collectors also search for die cracks and die chips on the Maryland quarter. These appear as raised lines or bumps along the dome, the branches, or the lettering. They're caused by worn dies during production, and the size of the crack or chip can greatly affect the coin's desirability. Some rare examples even show evidence of a missing clad layer. When the outer nickel coating doesn't bond properly, one side of the coin may appear copper-toned instead of silver. These errors immediately stand out and are considered premium pieces among collectors. With so many possible varieties, the Maryland quarter remains a favorite for roll hunters and collectors who enjoy searching through pocket change for mistakes. The clean, bold design makes errors easy to spot, and even subtle distortions can signal something rare. Every time one of these coins appears in your hand, it's worth taking a moment to check the dome, the branches, the edges, and even the color for anything unusual. Now for the real market price and auction value. A normal circulated Maryland quarter from the year 2000 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can sell for $2 to $5. Error coins such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, strong die cracks, and missing clad layer varieties can bring values ranging from $50 to more than $150 depending on rarity and condition. Top 7, we're exploring one of the most striking coins in the entire state quarter program, the United States Arizona quarter from the year 2008. This coin doesn't just show a piece of American history, it captures the bold, rugged spirit of the Southwest in a design so detailed that collectors still pause to admire it. And beyond the beauty, this coin hides a world of rare errors and unexpected value that might be sitting in your pocket right now. So coin lovers, sit back and listen carefully, because this is a coin worth paying close attention to. The Arizona quarter features one of the most iconic natural landmarks in the world, the Grand Canyon, carved deep into the earth over millions of years. Rising in the foreground is the majestic saguaro cactus, taller than a house and spreading its arms proudly. The contrast between the canyon walls and the cactus tells the story of Arizona's powerful landscape. Below the image is a banner that reads Grand Canyon State, which instantly reminds collectors why this design stands out among other state quarters. But beyond the beautiful artwork, what truly brings excitement are the rare errors that showed up during minting. These mistakes can turn an ordinary 25-cent coin into something that collectors chase, value, and sometimes pay surprisingly high prices for. One of the most famous errors on the Arizona quarter is the extra cactus variety. On these coins, excess metal fills parts of the design near the saguaro cactus, making it look like the cactus has extra leaves or branches growing out of the banner. This unusual look has made it one of the most talked about state quarter errors among collectors. Another valuable mistake is the die crack error. Tiny cracks can appear across the canyon, near the cactus arms, or along the rim. These raised lines of metal form when the die begins to break, and the larger the break, the more desirable the coin becomes. Some pieces even show dramatic cuts, where chunks of extra metal appear along the edges. Off-center strikes are also popular. If the design is pushed toward one side, making the rim uneven or cutting off parts of the canyon or cactus, the coin can become instantly collectible. The more dramatic the shift, the more exciting the find. Collectors also look for broadstrike errors, where the coin expands wider than normal due to a collar malfunction. The edges look smooth and stretched, and the design may appear slightly distorted, giving the coin a unique appearance that stands out immediately. another extremely rare variety is the missing clad layer error. When part of the nickel coating fails during minting, the copper core beneath becomes visible. This reddish tone instantly catches the eye, and these pieces can sell for impressive prices. With its bold lines, deep textures, and wide open spaces, the Arizona quarter makes errors easy to spot, which is why so many collectors enjoy searching through rolls and pocket change for hidden treasures. Every cactus arm, every shadow in the canyon, every stretch of the rim could reveal a rare minting mistake waiting to be discovered. Now for the real market price and auction value. A normal circulated Arizona quarter from 2008 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can sell for $2 to $5. Error coins including the famous extra cactus variety, strong die cracks, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and missing clad layer pieces can range from $50 to more than $150 depending on condition, rarity, and severity. Top 8. We're exploring one of the most fascinating and culturally rich coins in the entire Territory Quarter series, the United States Guam Quarter from the year 2009. This coin may look simple at first glance, but once you understand its history, its symbolism, and especially the rare errors that collectors love to chase, you'll never look at it the same way again. So coin lovers, get ready, because this little piece of metal has a story worth listening to from beginning to end. The Guam Quarter honors the beautiful island territory located in the Pacific Ocean, known for its deep history, warm culture, and strategic importance. When you flip the coin over, the design immediately draws you in. You see the outline of the island itself, detailed and proud. Below it sits the iconic flying prow, a traditional Chamorro sailing vessel known for remarkable speed and craftsmanship. To the side stands the latte stone, a symbol of ancient Chamorro architecture and strength. These elements together create a powerful tribute to Guam's people, heritage, and identity, but beyond the design, what makes this quarter especially exciting for collectors are the unexpected mint errors and unique varieties that slip through production. The Guam Quarter is well known among collectors for a surprising number of mistakes, making it a favorite for coin hunters searching through rolls and pocket change. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety. On some coins, you might notice a faint doubling on the lettering or on the outline of the island. The words Guam, e pluribus unum, or even the year can appear shadowed or slightly shifted, creating an eye-catching effect that collectors truly appreciate. Another fascinating error is the off-center strike. These mistakes happen when the blank coin isn't perfectly aligned with the dies. The result is a design shifted to one side, leaving part of the rim extra thick while the opposite edge becomes thin or partially missing. The more dramatic the shift, the more valuable the coin. Broad strike errors also appear on Guam quarters. When the retaining collar fails, the coin spreads outward during the striking process, creating a wide, smooth edge instead of the normal raised rim. These coins look stretched, unusual, and immediately interesting. Die cracks and die chips are also common on this quarter. Raised lines or bumps may appear on the island outline, the prow's sail, or the latte stone base. Each crack tells the story of a worn die slowly breaking down during production, and the larger the break, the more appealing the coin becomes to serious collectors. One of the rarest and most dramatic errors is the missing clad layer. When the outer nickel layer fails to bond, part of the coin reveals its copper core. These pieces have a reddish tone on one side or both, making them incredibly easy to spot and highly desirable. Because the Guam design is bold and clean, even small imperfections stand out beautifully. That's why collectors love this coin. Every line of the island, every curve of the prow, every detail of the latte stone holds the potential for something unusual. And with the Guam Quarter being part of a limited mintage series, finding an error in circulation feels like discovering hidden treasure. Now for the real market price and auction value. A regular circulated Guam Quarter from 2009 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can bring $2 to $5. Error coins such as double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, strong die cracks, and missing clad layer examples can range from $50 to more than $150 depending on rarity and condition. Top 9. We're diving into one of the most iconic coins in the United States State Quarter series, the Nevada quarter from the year 2006. At first glance, it may seem like a simple 25-cent piece, but to collectors, this coin tells a story of history, industry, and rare minting surprises that make it stand out from the millions of other quarters in circulation. Coin lovers, pay close attention, because this quarter has secrets and potential value that might be hiding in your pocket change. The Nevada quarter beautifully captures the essence of the Silver State. Its design features a soaring sagebrush in the foreground, the state flower, and snow-capped mountains in the background, evoking the rugged landscapes and natural beauty that Nevada is known for. The rising sun casts its light over the distant peaks, symbolizing hope, opportunity, and the pioneering spirit that has defined the state since the gold and silver rush eras. Below the image, the inscription, "The Silver State," proudly reminds collectors of Nevada's rich mining heritage, which is still an essential part of the state's identity today. But what makes this coin truly fascinating are the rare errors and varieties that emerged during production. Coin collectors know that even minor mistakes can drastically increase a coin's value, and the Nevada quarter is no exception. One of the most sought-after errors is the die crack. These appear as small raised lines along the sagebrush, mountains, or lettering and are caused by a die slowly breaking under the repeated pressure of minting millions of coins. Some die cracks are tiny and subtle, while others are bold and dramatic, adding unique character to the coin and making it instantly collectible. Off-center strikes are another popular variety. In these cases, the coin's design is pushed to one side, leaving part of the rim thicker and sometimes cutting off details of the mountains or lettering. The more pronounced the shift, the more desirable the coin becomes for collectors. Broad strike errors also occur on Nevada quarters, creating a stretched appearance where the edges are smooth and the design seems slightly distorted. This happens when the retaining collar fails during minting, allowing the coin to expand beyond its normal size. Broad strike coins are visually striking and always attract attention in coin auctions. Collectors also hunt for double die varieties. On some Nevada quarters, faint doubling can appear in the letters or even along the peaks of the mountains, creating a subtle but fascinating effect. These coins are especially popular because each doubling is slightly different, making every example unique. Another rare but highly prized error is the missing clad layer. When the outer nickel layer fails to bond correctly to the coin, the copper core beneath is exposed, giving parts of the quarter a reddish hue. These errors are instantly recognizable and can significantly increase the coin's value. Because of its open design, bold lettering, and clear imagery, the Nevada quarter makes spotting these errors much easier than on more detailed coins. Every line in the sagebrush, every shadow on the mountains, every ridge along the rim could hide a rare minting mistake. That's why collectors love this coin and why roll hunting for Nevada quarters can be so thrilling. Now for the real market price and auction value. A regular circulated Nevada quarter from 2006 is worth 25 cents. A high-grade uncirculated example can fetch $2 to $5. Error coins, including strong die cracks, off-center strikes, broad strikes, double dies, and missing clad layer varieties, can range from $50 to over $150 depending on condition and rarity. Top 10, and last rare coin. We're diving into one of the most historically significant and visually striking quarters ever released in the United States, the War in the Pacific National Park quarter from the year 2019. This coin doesn't just sit quietly in your pocket, it tells a story of heroism, sacrifice, and history that spans decades. If you're a collector or even just a coin enthusiast, what I'm about to share will make you look at this small 25-cent piece in an entirely new way. The War in the Pacific quarter is part of the National Park series, designed to honor the legacy of the brave men and women who fought in the Pacific Theater during World War II. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll notice a scene depicting soldiers, military vehicles, and a memorial representing the courage and endurance of those who defended remote islands and strategic points in the Pacific. Every detail, from the soldiers' uniforms to the background landscapes, is etched with remarkable precision. The inscriptions, "War in the Pacific National Historical Park," and "Guam," remind us of the coin's connection to history, ensuring that this piece is more than just currency, it's a tribute. Collectors are not just drawn to the coin for its beauty or historical significance. The war in the Pacific Quarter has quickly become notable for its rare minting errors, which can transform an ordinary coin into a highly sought-after collectible. One of the most common errors on this quarter is the off-center strike. When the coin isn't perfectly aligned during minting, part of the design may shift, cutting off soldiers, vehicles, or lettering along the edges. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable and desirable the coin becomes. Die cracks are another fascinating error seen on some of these quarters. Tiny raised lines may appear across the soldiers, vehicles, or memorial structures, caused by a worn or broken die. Some die cracks are subtle, almost invisible unless examined closely, while others are bold and prominent, instantly catching a collector's eye. Broad strike errors also occur, creating a stretched or distorted appearance on the coin's rim. This happens when the retaining collar that normally shapes the coin fails, causing the metal to flow outward. Broad-struck coins are striking in appearance and stand out dramatically in any collection. Another sought-after variety is the double die error. In these cases, the lettering or some elements of the design appear doubled, giving the coin a shadowed, layered look. Each double die is slightly different, making every coin unique and exciting to collectors who enjoy hunting for subtle differences. Some war in the Pacific Quarters even exhibit missing clad layer errors. This rare mistake exposes the copper core of the coin, giving it a reddish appearance on one or both sides. Coins with missing clad layers are immediately recognizable and can be highly prized at auctions. Collectors also appreciate the clean lines and high relief details of this quarter. The soldiers' faces, vehicles, and memorial structures are so well defined that even small errors become highly noticeable. Every coin carries the potential for something unusual, making roll hunting and careful examination a thrilling experience. Now for the real market price and auction value. A standard circulated war in the Pacific Quarter from 2019 is worth 25 cents. High-grade uncirculated examples can sell for $2 to $5. Error coins, including off-center strikes, broad strikes, strong die cracks, double dies, and missing clad layer varieties, can range from $50 to more than $150 depending on rarity and condition. This coin is a perfect blend of history, artistry, and collectible intrigue, making it a must-watch piece for collectors and coin enthusiasts alike.